Beautiful coven, how are you? Do you have a nice little cup of tea? I do have a nice cup of tea as I sit and record with you. I'm doing a tarot episode today. We haven't done one in a while, and I figured I'd get back to that. So today we are going to talk about the Sun card. That's what we're going to talk about. I just got to think if I have any housekeeping. I'm not sure when I'm even going to post this one. There's a bunch of events in October, but they might be done by the time this goes live. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being part of the Earbud Coven. Check out the website. That's the best place to go to see what events I'm doing and what I have going on. www.jodiannepsychicmedium.com. And if you're on the feeds, I do post what I'm doing on there too. I have been pretty neglectful of reels, so I do apologize. Life has just been, there's been a lot of shifts and changes going on in life, lots of deep healing. So I continue to do the podcast and let the social medias slide, because this is my favorite way to connect with you guys, to be in this beautiful, sacred coven space with you. So let's all take a deep breath in and a gentle breath out. No matter what you're doing, let's get a little bit grounded. Open our hearts a little bit. Feel our connection to the earth, to the air, to the water, and to the fire, as we learn a little bit about tarot today. So we're actually almost done the High Arcana. Can you believe that? When I started this podcast, one of the things I knew I could talk about was tarot, because I've been teaching it for a long time and mentoring people through development circles for some time. And I thought we'd go through the High Arcana card by card and look at the symbology. And we are now at the Sun card. This is the 19th card out of the 21 High Arcana cards. If you've been listening for a while, you'll know that I like to divide up and think of the High Arcana as 3 sets of 7. And they really correspond to our growth as individuals and even our initiatory rites as we go through our first, second, and third initiations. The first set of 7 is really about how we interact with the world. The second set is more about our community. And the third set of 7 is really high, esoteric, vibratory energy. It's really kind of God consciousness, really archetypal energy, and some of it can feel a bit abstract. At its surface, the Sun card is a card of blessings. And that makes sense. The symbology of that makes a lot of sense. Summer is a time of rejoicing. Sunlight brings life to our planet. It kisses all of the flowers and produces fruits. We respond to brightness and sunshine. Anyone who's lived in rainy Vancouver knows how vital sunny breaks can feel. So I want you to think of this Sun card like sunny breaks in life. It's always going to soften a spread. It's always about blessings. It's always about positive energy. And how this blessing is shown is usually in one of 2 ways. You either are going to have a deck that uses the Rider-Waite-Smith way of showing it, or the Tarot of Marseille way of showing it. The original old Italian deck is going to show a bright, brilliant sun in the middle, top quadrant of the card, and below is going to show two people happy and rejoicing. Any decks that are inspired by the Rider-Waite-Smith deck are going to have a baby on the card. So a bright sun, brilliant fiery light, and a baby. Sometimes on horseback, sometimes just dancing, being cute. Because of the popularity of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and that baby, many people read this as a fertility card, that it's foretelling a child coming to someone. And it can be. However, it's usually deeper and better than that. This is the 19th card of the tarot. We only have 2 more cards until we are at the end of the Fool's journey, until we've transcended all the things and all the lessons. So it's going to be something just a little bit cooler. It's a little bit more comprehensive than you're going to be with child. It can be about birth, but not necessarily a human baby. It's more about the evolution or the manifestation or the bringing about of change and goodness. On the older deck, the Tarot de Marseille, instead of a baby, you have the divine union. You have a man and a woman coming together, or the 2 polarities of masculine and feminine coming together to produce something new. So it's a much more holistic way of looking at the birth process. So it doesn't have to be a baby. You could be birthing a book. You could be birthing your PhD. You could be birthing a new life. It's more about that moment of transitioning from the darkness of the moon, looking at the deep subconscious. The moon card's the one before the sun. We know that, right? So moving from that deep shadow work, that deep subconscious cleansing, that deep connection with our innerness, with our divine feminine, and then connecting with the divine masculine. Think of the moment when the rays of sun creep above the horizon, promising a new day. When those brilliant rays of life touch down on the green grass of morning, the promise that that brings to your life, that's the energy of the sun card. It sun kisses and blesses whatever is happening in your life. It foretells greatness erupting, newness coming forward, new joy, new happiness. It actually reminds me a lot of the Fool card. If you go all the way back to the Fool card and you think about having the courage to heed a call, having the courage to move outside your comfort zone, having the courage to go forward, the Sun card is kind of like the blessing at the end of that journey that says, look, you set out to do something fantastic, you dared, and now these are the fruits of your labors. It's the promise of goodness. Does that make sense to you, my love? I hope it does. I also feel like the Sun card, just as the Moon card, can be showing us that divine goddess vibrational energy. It can be a card that connects us to goddess energy, that moon energy. I feel like the Sun card can be doing the same with the divine masculine. It's giving us a way to connect to our inner fire, our inner idea of who we are, our drive, and our divine masculine. It's really that solar plexus energy and standing in our power, knowing exactly who we are and how connected we are with the divine. I told you there would be abstract things here in these last 7 cards. And one of the things I want you to know as a reader, when you're reading for yourself or when you're reading for your clients, these really heavy divine vibrational cards, they don't often predict things as clearly as our pip cards, like our lower arcana, those 1 to 7 cards. Their messages are even not as clear sometimes as the first 7 cards of the high arcana, because what they do is not really foretell. They have a subtle effect on the overall spread. They're kind of like an Instagram filter. They're rose tinting the entire spread. They're highlighting the entire spread. They're coloring it like a filter on Instagram and highlighting. In the case of the Sun card, because it's a blessing card, it's softening, highlighting everything and making it all a little more beautiful. So I want you to think about that as a reader, that when you see this card in a spread, that it's going to soften whatever message is in that spread for your client. It's going to make what they're going through more palatable, easier to digest. The lessons are going to come less dramatically, no matter how many other cards are there. One of the other ways the Sun card can come forward when you're doing readings is it can represent inspiration. Whether the symbology is using the unity of 2 polarizing factors, male and female, light and dark, coming together under that gorgeous sun, or whether it's showing that baby on the horse, the idea is inspiration, right? Something new, that bursting forth, the opening of a flower, the beginning. Think about all things that are vital and vibrant in the season of the summer. The season of summer, the season of the sun, is ruled by fire. And it's very fast acting. It's very rejuvenating. And that's the energy of this card. So if your client is an artist in any way, whether they're a writer, whether they're a drawer, whether they're a musician, any kind of person who's living a creatively endeavored life, maybe they're into interior design. I don't know who your client is, babe. Whoever they are, this card speaks of inspiration, and it is a breaking through kind of inspiration. It's that light in the darkness, that turning on of hope, that turning on of blessing, that out of nowhere inspiration comes up and strikes them. Remember, with these higher cards, we have these abstract ways that they'll be interpreted in a spread, and it's really going to depend on the question. That's, for me anyway, that's one of the big differences when we're dealing with tarot versus when we're dealing with oracle cards. Because tarot cards have been in use for so long, and because people used to go to their fortune teller with direct questions, they would seek answers and expect the divine to tell them directly. People lived a much more literal life with their gods and with spirit and with soothsayers 400 years ago. Nowadays, we're in this much more open-styled spirituality where we're open to guidance and we're open to what will serve us best. Tarot isn't exactly designed to give you an open message in your highest and best good. It can work like that. You can pull a daily card and get great daily cards. But if that's your jam, oracle cards work much better because they're designed that way. They're designed to give you an inspiration of the day, a flavor of the day kind of reading, where tarot was designed to get to the heart of the human condition. and has been used for hundreds of years to get detailed information. So when we're dealing with these high vibrational cards and the abstract meaning of them, there's multiple ways that they can be read and applied, and that's going to depend on what you're asking and on what's going on in your client's life. In some instances, the Sun card is going to be all about connecting to the divine, especially because many people in our culture do think of God above as masculine, as that divine masculine, as that all-powerful creator vibe. And then we think of Mother Earth here as our divine mother. It's that duality that is constantly present. So for spiritual seekers, this card can be a deepening connection with higher power, a deepening connection with spirit, with guides, with the divine knowing, a deepening connection with themselves and how they fit into the fabric of the world. It's similar to the inspiration of the artist and the way the card can show up as a spark of creativity, but it's about that inner spark, that spark of the divine, and deepening our connection to it. One of the cards that I really love, and if I get enough time, I gotta get these on the YouTube and show you guys some Sun cards. One of the cards that depicts this so beautifully that I have is, it's a man, this beautiful man standing in front of a model of the universe, like one of those old-timey gyroscopy steampunky models of the universe, and he's staring up at this brilliant golden burning sun model. And you can see the idea of our connection to the divine, our connection to this celestial body in our sky, and how it's a reflection of our divinity and our wisdom, and it's also humbling at the same time. When we look at that interpretation of the meaning of the Sun card, and we think about our client and how that will apply to them, it can be a call for them to recognize their own divinity and how absolutely perfect they are, no matter what's going on in life, no matter how desperate they are as they sit across your table and ask you for advice. It will be about counseling them to connect to their deep wisdom, to connect to the divinity inside themselves, to connect with that solar plexus chakra style energy, and truly understand their divinity, their internal divine masculine, their deep connection to all things. It's very much a parallel to the wisdom of the goddess that we see in the moon card, because the sun and the moon go together. They're in a celestial dance of polarity. So when we designed these beautiful cards and we started thinking about archetypal energies, those are the things we infused into it. I still have to record the YouTube for you guys, both for the moon, and now I have to do the sun. So maybe I'll do them together so that you guys can look at some really beautiful dichotomies between the two cards and the idea of divine masculine and the idea of divine feminine. And we can have a little happy party over on the YouTube channel, because I do feel it's kind of tricky to teach tarot without a visual, and I like to provide that for you. The YouTube channel is easily found when you Google The Witching Half Hour or so. There will be links in the show notes, and there's links on my website, jodiannepsychicmedium.com, where you can find the YouTube and all the things going on. I do hope that you found this useful, that it helps deepen your knowledge of tarot so that you can give amazing readings to your friends and your clients, and so that you can understand better what the cards are telling you when you're pulling them for yourself. Okay, it's a short episode, but pretty close to a half hour. Take care, my beautiful coven. Please keep sharing the podcast. We're steadily growing. It's really exciting. It makes what I do feel really worthwhile. I love getting your comments on Instagram. I love knowing you're out there listening. Okay, take care, beautiful coven. Like this today? I think we can. I can talk right here. They tint. Lens isn't the right word. I'm thinking of lenses old school. Let's refresh that. They are almost like an Instagram filter. They color the whole spread for you. Okay, let's say that better, Jod. If you were looking at, say,